All right, welcome back to the Alfi Podcast, episode number 33. We're going to continue this discussion with Johnny and Dr. Salcines. Stay tuned for more. So positives, we talked about exercising, you're happy about the way you look, breathing's better, sleep is better.
The thing that I'm happiest about in my appearance is that I still look like myself.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is that I feel like as I got into my 30s, my face started to evolve and change. And, you know, your muscles aren't as taut and your skin isn't as taut. And I felt like I was aging. Like I didn't recognize my adolescent self in my face anymore.
Yeah.
And one weird thing that this surgery did, I have a giant poster. I didn't take it of myself. My friend gifted it to me. But it's a old band photo of when I'm 22 years old and I'm standing there with like a cup or whatever.
That photo.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm looking at it and I'm like,
let's put that photo. Send that photo. We're going to put it on this podcast so everyone can see what you're talking about.
Yeah. But I look at that guy and I'm like, oh, I see that guy in my face now. So I'm seeing a younger version of myself and my current self, which is a weird phenomenon. But I think that's what the surgery did for me. Is it kind of turned back my biological clock and appearance. Hopefully physiologically too.
For sure. Yeah.
But it did that in appearance. So I still look like myself. I look like a younger version of myself.
Yeah.
Like I see that person in me now.
You look a lot healthier, for sure. You know, I'll get memories on my phones of you and pictures of you from younger times, and you look so much healthier. Your skin tone, your alertness, all these things. So physiologically, I think these goes hand in hand. I think that aesthetics matches health. Health is beauty, and the healthier you are, the better you look, and vice versa. All right, let's talk about. Have you checked your blood pressure since? Because I know.
No, I always had blood pressure.
It was
issues.
On the higher end pre-surgery.
Yeah.
Have you been tracking it at all?
No, not at all.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to look
I haven't
at.
tracked sleep scores. I haven't tracked blood pressure.
Yeah, you just feel better.
Yeah. I think maybe I should start changing that habit. I was always one of those people where like, I don't want to know if I slept poorly or if I slept well.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it to mess with me psychologically during the day. I don't want to use it as an excuse that I'm not performing or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I got a bad sleep score. I must be tired. I should go rest or something. So I never wanted to lean on that. That's why I haven't checked. But now those Whoop devices are looking more and more appealing the more that I know.
Yeah. I'm
blood pressure.
I'm going to put a plug for wearables for the flip side, the way I look at it, because I wear an Oura Ring. We have a 8 sleep bed that also tracks. I just ordered a glucose monitor because I want to see what's happening to my glucose. All these things are wearable and trackable. I'm a huge fan of it, but it may be a personality thing. AJ will understand this because he went through a similar path. Dental school, medical school, had to be competitive, and in a way, we're trained to be. We want good scores, right? Like you want to see an A on everything that you do. We're trained that way. So like when I put an Oura on, I want to see 90s. And I know
that changes your habits.
It changes my habits because I know what it's going to take to have a good night's sleep versus a bad night's sleep. And I've always wanted to be a good student, and that may be part of it. But it's actually changed a lot of things for me. Like I make sure I set the temperature in my room in the high, between 65 to 69 when I want to go to bed on. I even put the fan on. I cool the bed with the 8 sleep bed. I have resources to buy fancy tools. We bought a sauna that I do several hours now.
You black out your room?
I'm working on that. That's something that's still...
That's on my docket. I want to do that.
Yeah, that's on our list to do, is to black out the room. But, stop drinking alcohol, stop eating 3 hours before bedtime. These are things that I never really did beforehand because there was no score for me to get. But now that it's trackable, traceable, it's completely changed my habits, and I want to get the good score. I don't even, I used to like to meet people for dinner and have late dinners and have a glass of wine. Like, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to go to after work. I want to get to bed, home and get ready for bed. There's no doubt that that's made me healthier and happier, and it's made me a better version of myself. So that's my plug for, whether it's Aura or Whoop or whatever these wearables are. I think there's a lot of value in them.
Yeah, that's
harnessing to create positive change in your life is definitely the best way to utilize it.
Yeah, I agree, and it's getting fun with the tools that are out there and AI that's available to kind of personalize these touches a little more.
Do you wear a tracking device? Oh, you have an Apple Watch.
I have an Apple Watch.
Okay. You check it?
Yeah, I look at it mostly for like the exercise features.
Okay.
Making sure I'm getting up, walking around, moving.
Have you read Atomic Habits?
It for sleep. I don't use it for sleep. Atomic Habits? No.
It's so good. You read it? Atomic Habits?
Yeah.
The one thing that I like that he talks about, which I always kind of believed, but it was good reinforcement hearing it, was that to change a habit, you have to change your identity and identify as somebody like you want to have a habit of good sleeping. Now you identify as somebody that doesn't drink and that doesn't go out. I think that's important. Just to like I'm a gym person, right?
Yeah.
And that helped me change habits. Like in order to make jujitsu at 6 a.m., I got to be in bed by 10:30
right.
with my laundry done, my bag packed.
Yes.
So I can't go to dinner because I have to go home, do laundry, and pack my bag and make sure like everything is set up for 12 hours after the thing that you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So so you're identifying as that person, and through that identity, you change what you do. I think it's very powerful.
Yeah, it's great. I'm reading the book Principles, which touches on habits a little bit, and it puts a plug in for Atomic Habits.
That's Ray Dalio?
Ray Dalio,
okay.
Yeah. And there's a lot of good points in there to the similar thing. I think it says that it takes 18 months of changing habits to make something completely routine and adopted in your life. But there's always a struggle between what the lower brain function wants and the higher brain function wants, right?
For sure.
There's a struggle. Like, there is no doubt. Who wouldn't want to finish work, go get a glass of wine, sit on the couch for the rest of the night, right? That's so appealing to the lower brain function because it's easy, it feels good in the moment, it's not active, and snack on unhealthy food, right? And most people fall to that, despite knowing that, if I eat clean, if I sleep early, if I avoid the alcohol, if I exercise, if I do the right things, I'm going to look better, feel better, be richer, be more productive, have more friends, everything that someone really wants in their life.
You might have less friends, but you'll have better friends.
Better friends. Yeah. Definitely quality over quantity.
Yeah.
If anyone's thinking about the friends thing, you want quality over quantity. That most things in life. But knowing these things, like who doesn't want to be rich? Who doesn't want to have a six pack and feel well and conquer life, right? Everybody wants that. And everybody knows what it takes to get that. But despite that, most people fall victim to the lower brain function. Like, you know what, I had a hard day. I'm just going to sit on the couch and this and that. So to the habits part, like what you have to do, because a lot of times that lower brain function is going to take precedent, is that you have to understand that you got to change your habits.
And I can see how like that can be an overwhelming thought. And, I think it's important to kind of pick one thing at a time. And over time, those small things can become a large thing, and really tackling at it in organized kind of way to get that improvement.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
And it compounds.
Yeah, compounds quickly.
It compounds quickly, but you're absolutely right. It could be a small, you have a goal and you're like, let me tackle this, small thing at a time. Like if you drink sugary sodas, every day as part of your meals. Elimination of that one thing alone will change your life.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what else I realized? We as human beings might be in different positions in life and have different luck and different circumstances and different money and live in a different part of the world. When it comes down to it, we're all playing the same game every day. We wake up and the game we're playing is reconciling with ourselves who we're going to be that day. And you're either going to be a better version of yourself and aid growth, or you're going to fall into a state of decay. And I think that's really what it comes down to for everybody. That's the game that we're all playing. And I think that relates to jaw surgery and in a decision to either get a surgery or do something else to help yourself sleep better, exercise, and do all these things.
Right.
But I think life, it really is as simple as that.
Yeah. To that point, because we're bringing back to what we were discussing earlier, about, everything is risk. Doing something is risky, but not doing something is risky, right? Like investing in stocks or Bitcoin or a business could be risky, but just sitting on cash in the bank and not investing is probably riskier. Right? There's a no. So for example, that the dollar is going to be inflated, and the dollar now compared to 50 years ago is worth a lot less, right? You used to buy a cup of coffee for 10 cents 50 years ago. Now you have to buy a cup of coffee for $5, right? That is for sure going to continue to happen. So it's not even that not investing is risky, it's bad, right? It's a guaranteed loss of value to do that.
Yeah, like you can't stay stagnant.
Correct. And the same thing for a decision for surgery, right? Like if you have sleep apnea, yes, surgery has its risks, right? You got to go through recovery. It may cost money. You may get numb on your lower lip, and you may have to reoperate. You might have issues, right? Sure. But not addressing sleep apnea, you're going to develop heart disease, stroke, Alzheimer's, and a much unhappier, less healthy future.
So we have somebody shadowing us this week, another surgeon shadowing us, and he asked me what my chief complaints were and what led me to get the surgery. And I told him, and I've mentioned this before, that I'm 40 now, but I was 39 when I decided to get the surgery because I started snoring. I exercised relentlessly, pretty decent diet. I don't eat a lot of sugar and stuff like that. I try to have good myofunctional habits. I had a white film developing on my tongue from the amount of rubbing that it was hitting my teeth when I spoke. And I started snoring, and I just looked at my face and I saw the writing on the wall, and I'm like, I either do this now and reap the benefits for as long as possible, or I gain 10 pounds, as little as 10 pounds, or I turn 50 and the writing is on the wall. Like I was facing a reality,
right,
that I know because of the space that we're in about my airway, that I either make a decision and go through this tough thing, or don't, and have a worse quality of life and suffer and have a million things that can happen to me because of a small airway.
So you're exactly leaving the money to inflate and worth nothing, right? It's a similar
and dude, my
thing.
Gut health is probably, I don't talk about it enough. I was suffering before. I never talked about it because it's embarrassing. I was always in the bathroom. It's day and night after the surgery. And it's been consistent. I've been reluctant to talk about it because it's kind of one of those intangible things. I know there are a million studies about gut health in regards to airway that you've talked about. But I'm like, time will tell. I don't know if this is a temporary thing, but 7 months later, and I'm just completely different quality of life just based on that alone.
That's awesome.
It's really amazing.
Not something that we talk about in the traditional sense of the surgery.
Yeah,
at all.
That's true.
No.
It doesn't even come up.
I don't know that a lot of your patients have a lot of complaints, or that they would even talk to you about.
I've heard other patients talk about that.
Issues.
We've heard other patients talk about that for sure. There's a lot of benefits. We had a patient yesterday, had a tremendous transformation, and she had autonomic dysfunction, depression, anxiety, GI issues, and she was taking 12 or 13 different prescriptions daily and couldn't function. She, couldn't cook meals at home. She couldn't clean the house. She was really struggling. And here she is now, and her daughter was in the room with a new baby, so her grandchild. And not only does she look incredible and healthier, it looks like a different person, just because of how, same person, but much healthier. Says that has so much more energy to do basic things that she could never do before. But she showed me this picture. I need to get this picture from her. Hopefully we have it in time to put on this podcast.
We have it.
You have it? Awesome. She went down from 13 drugs every day for all these issues to 4. From 13 to 4. And she has a 3-month supply of pills that she put in the garbage. And that's a picture we have. And it's unbelievable that someone can even consume all those. It's unbelievable that she doesn't have to take anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. I want to get into the realities of, the things that you didn't expect or things that you wish could be better from the surgery, like numbness or the anxieties of fighting and all those things. Give the audience some things to expect, like some realities of surgery. Obviously, it was a huge success, but it's not a magic wand. No. And there are some realities that you went through.
Yeah, a lot is up to you. The habits that you develop around sleep, like it'll make your sleep better quality once you are asleep, right? But like what you were mentioning, your cortisol levels affect your sleep. The meals you eat, the amount that you're partying, your environment, the temperature in the room. All those things matter. I don't have to mouth tape anymore because I'm breathing through my nose. So that's great. That's what the surgery did for me. So you have to kind of still pay attention to your environment and make things good for yourself. The surgery can't.
It's not going to change.
Can't change your habits for you.
Correct. Yeah, I think that's a huge thing because people. There are some people who want a magic wand more and more in the U.S. because of the medical system. It's like, you're overweight, there's a pill. You eat a lot of sugary stuff and develop diabetes, there's a pill. You're anxious, there's a pill. Like, we're so dependent in this medical system because of a lot of factors. There's a lot of it's capitalism. There's a lot of factors, right? There's a lot of it's culture. But there's a pill for everything. There's a drug for everything, and there's a easier way, not a better way, but there's an easier way to be dependent on drugs and pills and solutions than not. So, but taking accountability it's not like part of our culture anymore. It is for some people, and those people happen to be fit and exercise and successful. But it's not the default. And I think that there are a subset of patients that it's like, hey, I got this surgery and now I still don't feel good.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, you gain 10 pounds. An 10% increase in weight gain is a 6-fold increase in obstructive sleep apnea. So yes, you gain 10 pounds. You would be a lot worse had you not had the structure that you have now. But if you want to feel better, you got to do everything else right. Right?
Yeah. Goes back to what I'm saying. Like, even like me, you, Elon, Bill Gates, we're all playing the same game every day. Like, no matter what situation, no matter what cards we're dealt, we have choices to make every day. And it goes to what you were saying about happiness, and even like what I was saying, that I look better. Yeah. Now, ultimately, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I have to feel good about myself at the end of the day. And a lot of things that I feel good about myself are ultimately subjective, and they're ultimately at my own discretion, whether I want to feel good about myself or not.
Yeah.
And they're largely dependent on my habits and what I'm doing throughout the day. So yesterday I feel really good because I was here until 7:30 and I got a lot done and I was productive. And I knew what I had to get done, and a lot of it was uncomfortable, and I managed to get it done, and so I went home happy. Right? Whereas if there was another day that I didn't do what I was supposed to do, I might not feel happy that day. And so my happiness is then contingent based on what I do, how I behave. You know, whether I am exercising or not, you know, whether I am eating the right thing or not. We have this cheesecake in the fridge that's the greatest cake, the greatest thing that has ever been invented.
I resisted. I didn't have a slice. AJ, did you resist?
I did not. I couldn't. I've never had it before, and I hear about how great
it's
this
the
cake
white
was.
chocolate raspberry truffle cheesecake with the Oreo crust from the Cheesecake Factory. It's like absolute kryptonite. And I've had it like 2 days in a row now. And then, you know, I went home thinking, like, you know, there are pros and cons every day. I'm like, I probably shouldn't have had
It's your birthday. Happy birthday, Johnny.
Happy birthday, Johnny.
It's a good excuse, right?
There's a great clip. Is that Adam Sandler? You know which clip I'm talking about? Maybe SNL or
I know what you're talking about.
Or some skit. It's like, if you're sad now, you're going to be sad later. And it was something about, you know, taking
we
a
can
trip.
take you on vacation, but we can't not make you jealous of your older sister or something.
Right. And we find, like, you know, my experience treating all these patients, and I know Dr. Salcines as well, is that, you know, there are people that are genuinely happy, and there are people that are genuinely pessimistic and sad and looking for trouble. And doing the surgery, a lot of those patients are still going to, if you're sad before and you don't work on yourself and you don't journal, you don't exercise, you're not doing all the right things, you're not trying to look for happiness, but you're doing the opposite. You're vibrating at a low frequency and you're jealous and you're looking for disasters and things like that. It'll find you on the other side of it too. You know, those things, you have to work on yourself. People that are sad before surgery are likely going to be sad after surgery. You know, people that are struggling before surgery, but always looking for positives, those are the best patients, because they're going to have the improvements structurally that we could give them. And then breathing better, sleeping better, they're going to be able to do the things they want more, and they're going to be happy. And those are the most successful patients. So I do think for anybody listening, it's like you have to take about accountability. You got to work on yourself. You got to do things right. And this is such a powerful tool. And you're a great example of that.
Yeah. And there are discomforts that come with recovery that might tip somebody into the dark side. I can see that happening.
Yeah.
But there are so many positives that are associated with the recovery.
Right. So let's elaborate real quickly on that. For example, there's an anxiety that you're not going to heal. You can develop an infection that needs management.
Yep.
You may need a reoperation. These things are rare, but they can happen. You're going to be numb, right? You're going to have numbness to the lower lip, the chin, the roof of the mouth, the gums, the teeth. Usually temporary, but could be permanent, but definitely will happen for some period of time. The muscles are going to take time to recover. You're going to be in ortho for some time until the bite adjusts. You might have discomfort during these periods. So if you're looking for these things as an issue, you're going to find them. You're going to find the issues, and you could really have a hard time with that.
Yeah. Well, they're real issues, but they're also...
Correct. Yeah.
They're also, God willing, all of them are temporary.
Yeah.
Right?
Either temporary or permanent realities of the operation. But it's important that patients know these things going in. The good outweighs the bad.
Yeah.
And it could be such a powerful tool.
Well, so many things I was neurotic about ended up going away already.
Yeah.
I was like looking at AJ. I'm like, look at my, you know, asymmetry here and this and that. And it was swelling.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was
But that's
swelling.
my point. Like, there are a lot of things that come up. Most of it's going to go away. But the people that are looking for things to be anxious about, it's going to be a really hard recovery. You're going to more likely be unhappy. But the people that know that there's a journey and there's work to do, these patients are so happy afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to add anything to
I
that
think,
sentiment.
I think you have something great that you say to patients is try not to worry and leave the worrying to me.
Right.
We do this surgery 200 times a year. We know what we're looking for.
Yeah, and we want to avoid issues.
And we want no issues to come up just as bad as the patient. So
let us do that worrying.
And
make sure you're okay.
And we're always, we are available always and here looking out for you. And like I said, after doing as many as we do and see, we know what we're looking for.
We know what we're looking for. Yeah. And I think this is true for all surgeons that I know. Like they take pride in their work. They want their patients to do well. And they know they have the experience of treating patients and knowing what to look for. So there are things that can make you anxious, especially if you don't know what you're looking for and have taken care of patients and all these things. So yeah, do leave that worrying to the doctor. And I think that makes things a lot easier. Do you think so, Johnny?
Yeah.
It's like, is this an issue? No? Okay, good. Is this going to go away? Is this going to get better? How's it going to heal? Okay, good. Ask the question if you're worried about it, but don't look for things. We're gonna be able to look for things. I like to make the analogy. I know you heard me say this. Is like when you go to a restaurant, you go to have a meal and leave. You're not worrying about, is the restaurant staffed? Are the dishes cleaned? Do they have enough ingredients? Did the meat make it on time? Is the oven working? And then am I cleaning these dishes afterwards? You're leaving that to the restaurant because that's what the restaurant does to serve you that meal. It's the same thing when you're coming into surgery. It's like you don't have to worry, are the nurses going to be on time? Is the anesthesiologist there? Is the anesthesia machine set up? Is the surgeon here? Is the plates here? Are the instruments clean? All these things. It's like that's our job. So don't worry about that. The only thing you have to worry about once you've committed is just be there.
Mm-hmm.
Do the things that we ask you to do. And I think that when I do tell patients that, it does, a lot of them respond very favorably, like, okay, good, let me not worry about these things and let the professionals do what they do.
And I think the more bandwidth of your brain that you use to think positively and think of ways of how you're going to kind of get yourself through the surgery and the recovery in a positive way, it will just improve the overall recovery. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Focus on wellness and recovery.
Yeah. Some patients I'm in total awe of. Like even me, I'm not your most optimistic.
No, your default patient. Is not your.
I'm not.
Your default
That's
is
not me. Like
you take
I don't
a lot
wanna,
of reassurance.
Yeah, I don't want to put it out there like, hey, I'm the example to follow.
You did a great job, Johnny, but you're not number one.
I'm not number one. No. Some patients are like amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, we do have some that are really positive and trust the process, and it's nice. All right, breaking news: Dr. Salcines finishing fellowship this month. Yeah. We are starting practice together in Miami, Florida. Come find us, AOS Miami. Dr. Salcines will be there full time.
Yeah. So excited.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah. And we have Steve there with us. It'll be a 3-surgeon practice. So all of South Florida, you have a home now.
Yeah.
All of Florida.
Rock and roll.
All of Florida. You have a home now. Look for AOS Miami, Dr. Salcines, Dr. Jalepas, Steve. We'll plug them, and we'll have to bring them on the show soon. Yeah. All right.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. We'll be back. Thanks for. Hold on. Where's the pillow? Like, subscribe, share, comment. We want more comments on these things. So if you're listening, just comment, put a thumbs up or something, or ask a question like, Johnny, are you single?
No. No.
He's not. We got Erica in the room, right?
Yeah.
All right. AJ, best basketball player of all time.
Kobe.
All right. Johnny,
I'm a Kobe guy.
You're a Kobe guy. I'm a Kobe guy too. Watch the highlights. The film don't lie.
Yeah. Poetry in motion. Man.
It is poetry in motion.